All right, let's check in on my 10th seed pick Knicks, who beat up the Sixers last night. And a lot of it was that Joel Embiid just really couldn't get anything going. Mitchell Robinson on him, they throw two at him with RJ Barrett, and that's a bad shot. On this one, Embiid thinks that he's going to draw Taj Gibson into a foul, but he doesn't. And I feel like this turnover here kind of captures the whole game for Embiid, where he's trying to do his thing in the post. They bring two at him, and he just didn't really have an answer for it. He traveled on that one. The other thing to look at is Evan Fournier, who has been everything the Knicks could have asked for so far. Embiid is not stepping up at all. That's the super duper drop. Of course, there's at least one Randall to Fournier play. Those two seem to have a second nature with each other already. And I say that because they had another one right after. I swear, these two are Jokic and Murray part 2. Like, they just get each other so much already. And because 2 Randall to Fournier connections are not enough, why not 3? This time we get an extra screen from Mitchell Robinson. The other thing that happened last night was that Westbrook had by far his best game with the Lakers so far. And I think it brings up a question of what is the perfect balance between Westbrook running the show and LeBron doing it, because obviously you don't want to take the ball out of LeBron's hands. I don't know, but we learned that if you give Westbrook 2 screens and allow him to get a head of steam going, that's pretty good. Of course, his finishing was also just really good in this game. Then it's a Westbrook-Anthony Davis pick and roll, and this is with another big guy in there, by the way, which has been a little bit of a fear so far with the Lakers. The spacing can sometimes be rough. And this is also another question with this team, right? When Anthony Davis is in the post, what is Westbrook doing off the ball? Here, he relocates, and then he just kind of forces his way to the basket through DeJounte Murray, as opposed to him just standing like right here and then just shooting the 3. Although he did make a big 3 in this game, it should be said. This is another thing Russ can give them, just more attacking early in possessions rather than walking the ball up court and you start looking around for what you're going to do. The Warriors are also 4-0. Was I disrespectful to the Warriors to have them as the 5th seed? I don't know. I think they could be very dangerous in the playoffs if Klay Thompson's back in time, you know? Anyway, let's look at some Warriors assists, and let's just appreciate that the free-flowing Warriors are pretty much back. Jordan Poole on a cut, Bjelica cuts off of that. Both of those passes were great. This one is just a classic Steph Curry off ball. He just keeps constantly moving, and eventually, even if you get an okay contest, it doesn't matter. Here we've got some role player magic. And that was a big question with this team. Could they survive when Steph isn't in the game, right? Well, Otto Porter sets a screen for Iguodala, and then while that's happening, Bjelica sets a screen for Damian Lee off ball. He cuts, and there you go. And SGA did what he could to keep this game kind of close, but OKC, as we know, not exactly equipped to win. I really like this step back from SGA. I have a question, though. Will SGA pull a Trae Young at some point? Which I think you should eventually do if you're a great young player and be like, all right, guys, can we finally get some players here? Like, I don't think it's going to happen this year, but what if it happens this offseason? Will the OKC front office actually listen to him? Because there's no way SGA is just content with this team being this bad. Bull liked a tweet suggesting the Nuggets should trade him. Yeah, I mean, I just don't really know what his value would be. I mean, maybe if it's on a team that isn't trying to win, then maybe you could really see what he's got, but, I mean, the Nuggets have seen him for years now. Zach LaVine has a small ligament tear in his thumb of the non-shooting hand. He's going to play through it. I feel like if I got something like this, I just wouldn't do anything for a week. I guess try to force LaVine left. Is that the play now with this thumb thing? We'll see. Also, Chicago's schedule gets tougher in a little bit here, so we'll really see what they got. JJ Redick will be an analyst for ESPN. That could be pretty cool. Although he is going to have to be non-biased when it comes to the Pelicans, and I don't know if that's possible for him. What's the worst trade no one talks about anymore? This guy's thinking about Andrea Bargnani for the Knicks. That was a bad one. The Bulls drafted LaMarcus Aldridge, then traded him for Tyrese Thomas. Oh boy. Bobcat legend Tyrese Thomas. He did have like a stretch of time where his mid-range was like okay, but obviously LaMarcus's ended up being a little better. The Bucks traded a second and a future first for Grievous Vasquez. He had like 1 year where he averaged 7 assists or something. Those two picks became Norm Powell and Anunoby. Damn. That's a home run for the Raptors, my goodness. A couple of executives around the league believe Kobe White is a trade candidate. I feel like you'd have to have a pretty good offer. Because from the Bulls' standpoint, it's like, look, he's still young and the potential as a scorer is there. I think I would prefer to hang on to him unless you're giving me something where I'm like, wait, what? You want that much for the guy? Evan Mobley is leading the league in contested shots with 72 through 4 games. Yeah, I made a joke tweet saying that his player comparison is Tim Duncan. And again, it is a joke, but also there's a little bit of truth in there. Some people replied to me saying Kevin Garnett. I do not want to put the pressure on Mobley to become one of the 5 best players in the league or whatever, but what is the over-under for defensive player of the years in Mobley's career? Realistically 1, just for the fun of it, maybe 2, 2.5.